DC TV shows on the CW. What's going on? What do we have to look forward to in the future? Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. We're doing these videos to talk about DC TV and movie properties. And this specific one, we're going to talk about the CW. Now, there's been a lot of upheaval since the Discovery Warner Brothers merger, and part of that was cancellations of shows on the CW. Legends of Tomorrow was canceled. It had kind of wrapped up the season on a semi-cliffhanger, but, you know, that show has moved on from a lot of the original cast members, and most of the characters left in the show are not DC comic book characters. They canceled Naomi after one season with a storyline unresolved, and Batwoman after 2 seasons. Now, I think Batwoman makes a lot of sense because it would make more sense for DC to use the character in the Matt Reeves, the Batman universe. We know we're getting a Penguin HBO Max show, perhaps an Arkham Asylum HBO Max show, and since Batwoman needed to be recast, and they moved away from the Kate Kane character, who is Batwoman in the comic books, why not just reboot the character in a different way and have her be part of that Batman Gotham City universe that is coming out of the Batman movie directed by Matt Reeves. So what's left on the CW? Well, previously, some other shows, including Black Lightning and Supergirl, have been canceled. The Flash seems to be kind of limping along and might not have a full season in what is quite possibly its final season. And there are also a Gotham Knights show and a Justice League University, maybe, show ordered to pilot / in development, but nothing is firm at this time. Now, the 2 other shows that are probably the best shows that could be salvaged from the CW are Stargirl, which still has season 3 upcoming. And remember, Stargirl premiered on the DC Universe app, a short-lived app that was kind of absorbed by HBO Max, and the other is Superman and Lois. Those 2 shows have the best storytelling probably of the DC Warner Brothers CW shows. I'm afraid The Flash has kind of jumped the shark, at least in my opinion. But what's changed? Now, a lot's changed in the comic book / superhero TV landscape since the premiere of Arrow. That was back in 2012. And the MCU was just beginning. Remember, the MCU started with Iron Man in 2008. Incredible Hulk came out the same year, but that was the same year that The Dark Knight came out, the second of the films in the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. So really, and that was the year in which Heath Ledger won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for portraying the Joker. So at that point, the Batman movies were kind of the pinnacle of movie making, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe was just beginning. So in 2012, Arrow premiered, right? So in 2013, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiered, which was a quasi spin-off, somewhat connectedness to the MCU, but was later kind of disavowed as being part of that. That same year, the following year, 2014, was when The Flash debuted. Also debuting that year was the Gotham TV series on Fox, which ran through 2019. Now, as things changed, in 2015, Daredevil premiered as the first show on Netflix. In that group of TV shows that were intended for a more mature audience, along with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Punisher, And they are, in some ways, many of them are coming back to the MCU. So that was kind of its own separate entity. And Marvel allowed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter. Remember, Agent Carter was a show with Haley Atwell that premiered in 2015. And the Netflix shows to kind of be tangentially related to the MCU. But Kevin Feige wasn't directly overseeing them. Meanwhile, on DC side, the Arrowverse kept expanding. Supergirl originally was on CBS and then later went to the CW, and you got Black Lightning and Legends of Tomorrow. Then in 2018, the DC Universe app premiered with Titans as their flagship title. And Swamp Thing only lasted for one season. Doom Patrol came along, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn. Also in 2019, HBO premiered the Watchman TV series by Damon Lindelof, which won 4 Primetime Emmy Awards, including Best Limited Series as well as Best Actress and Best Supporting Actor. It was a highly acclaimed series and kind of reset the bar for the quality of TV show that could be done out of comic book characters, specifically superheroes. And then what really changed the landscape, and I think has kind of left the CW shows in the dust, is Disney Plus and the MCU's interconnectedness to the movies and the TV shows. And that, I think, has been something that DC has been lacking, and the new management in charge at the Warner Brothers Discovery are kind of recognizing that. They do have their own platform, HBO Max, which reports say may be rebranded to make it a little less specific than thinking just HBO shows and movies would be on there. But it does give them an outlet. And I think what they're kind of going down the route is having different storylines. They have the Batman stuff, which I think, the Batman movie was very successful. And I think there's a lot of possibilities there for more grounded, rooted things. And then you have the more superheroic aspects that you can explore in, let's say, the Green Lantern series. Where does that leave the CW? I think The Flash maybe has one more season. Stargirl, Superman, and Lois are really all that's left. And who knows how much longer the CW will be around. It's interesting because they had built up the Greg Berlanti, the producer of almost all these shows, had kind of built up the interconnectedness of it with Crisis on Infinite Earths, which ironically had a guest starring appearance by Ezra Miller and meeting the Grant Gustin Flash. And I think what happened, though, after that is they didn't really follow up on that idea. At the end of it, the main characters all met in the Hall of Justice, kind of as the new Justice League. They hinted that Glee from, the pet of the Wonder Twins had kind of escaped a cage. Never followed up on that. The other thing is Superman was included in that, as was Lois Lane. The actors that are in the Superman and Lois series, they got their own spin-off series from Supergirl, but they have completely ignored the fact that Supergirl exists. They're not in the same universe as the other characters because, listen, if things were really going bad and you're Superman and Supergirl's around, you might be like, hey, because I could use a little bit of help here, But there's none of that. I don't know what the future holds for the CW shows. I think maybe they're more, these 20 episode seasons are kind of more soap operatic than a smaller season, a 6 to 10 episode season, which has a more contained storyline. But, is there still value in programming on network television that necessitates a 20 episode season and has the limitations of network television in terms of budget, in terms of flexibility and creativity and the ability to reach a targeted audience such as you get through Disney Plus or HBO Max? So anyway, let me know what you think about the CW shows or any of them you are watching, are still watching, if you've given up on them. Personally, I love Stargirl. I think Stargirl is really well done. It's a fun superhero show that really appreciates its roots in the comic books. Superman and Lois is an interesting take on Superman, a character that's had so many TV series, and people can get very bored with Superman because he's all powerful. Here, it's more the Clark Kent character that has to deal with everything that's going on in his life and these kind of earth-shattering menaces. So let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments below. And until then, here are a couple of other videos that I've done recently. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics and your TV shows.